So today, what I'm going to talk to you guys about, actually, I'm going to adjust my focus first. All right, there we go. Today, what we're going to talk about is, well, I'm at my halfway point on my 1 year experiment with just using the G85 and the Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4. What I'm actually going to do is give you guys an update and really just tell you what I've learned so far. I'm going to try to stay on script here, so just bear with me. So I have about 10 items that I kind of wanted to discuss, and then that's going to be it. So without further ado, I'll jump right into it. First things I learned, and I knew I was going to kind of get this immediately, was number one, that your camera gear does not make the videographer or photographer, especially when you only have a lens and a camera to depend upon, right? You don't get all the extra tools, all the extra things that you may be able to do with some lenses and cameras. So you have to find a workaround. The biggest thing is understanding your system and then just understanding photography in general. So, your exposure, etc. Those types of things are very, very helpful, especially when you're trying something like this. And, basically the fundamentals, ensuring that you get those. And I think that really that right there is what's key in being successful at doing something like this. Number two is it's a whole lot less stressful when you only have one camera and one lens, right? You have a project, when I roll up, this is what I'm taking. I don't necessarily have to pack along a lot of gear or get there and feel like, wow, I wish I had brought this for this particular condition, because once again, I only have this. And that's actually been really, really nice. I will say that leads me to number three, which is now, because I only have one camera and one lens, I have less gear envy. I still look at all the new stuff that's coming out, and there are some amazing bodies and lenses that are being released. But knowing that I'm not going to be picking them up is actually pretty nice. It's more or less a relief. It's like, wow, you see that new thing, and then you see how much it is now because the prices continually go up. And it's like, darn it, I guess I'll be saving for this, right? Or I might, save or might sell or trade or whatever. I'm not doing that now. So it's nice to really not even have to worry about that. And then I'm actually saving by not throwing money at this hobby. I can throw it at other hobbies. Number four, what I've realized is when I have this particular constraint, I found out very quickly what projects I love doing and the ones that I just don't like as much. Because a lot of the ones, like all of them for the most part, they take a lot more work, I believe, going into it. So a lot more planning, etc. And then even when you're finished, editing, those types of things, which I'll talk about later. So it's like if I'm going to devote this much time, I'm going to pick the stuff that I'm going to really enjoy. And then the things that I don't necessarily like doing, I can find out if maybe someone else would like to take that on. And it's been fine. So yeah, it's been really, really great just picking or I should say, figuring out the things that I really enjoy. I always thought that I had an idea of the type of photography and videography that I like, but this right here has kind of helped me narrow it in. Number five, I would say, is the G85. Sorry, I need to scroll down really quick. Is the most underrated camera, period. I knew it was a great camera when I picked it up, and I will focus on the camera and off of me. Please forgive my dog. He's down there barking right now. But I read a lot of reviews, and I knew that this camera was going to be awesome. And I will tell you that it has actually exceeded my expectations. The things that I've been able to do with it, and I've asked of it, and it's performed, I mean, I've been impressed. I would have a hard time replacing this camera. In the event that I did pick up another camera down the road, a year from now, this would still probably stick around as a BRoll camera, or maybe even I give it to the kiddo so then she can learn how to shoot and, etc. Hold on, give me one moment. I'm going to close the door really quick. But yeah, the G85 has been amazing. The idea that I can take it pretty much anywhere, not worry about it, start recording it's awesome. And then all the accessories, right? So I got the small rig cage on here, and with that I can attach a lot more things. If you have a question about any of the setups, whether the Micro Go wireless or the field monitor, I have a review on this, not on that. I think I have a review on the cage up already, but feel free to ask. But yeah, this just adds to the package. It's not necessary though to do a lot of the work that I do. It just makes things like this a little easier. Since I can actually accessorize and add certain things. But the G85 has been awesome. The next thing, number six, would be the lens. So I learned very quickly that this should have been the first prime lens that I purchased for this camera, not the penny 25 millimeter 1.7. For 90% of the things that I do, this focal length and this aperture is perfect. without a doubt. The 25 millimeter 1.7 is a good lens, and especially you can't beat the price. This lens right here actually was about 400 and some change. The Panny was about, gosh, let me see, it was 100 and I think $50 when I bought it. So super cheap lens. So I get it. If that's all you got and it's your first lens, feel free. If you pick that one up, I highly recommend it too. But I will say for me, knowing what I know about these two lenses, this was a better choice. And then it's also weather sealed, which I really, really like. Panny's smaller also, by the way. But yeah, I've been really impressed with this lens. It's been fast enough. And I will say that even with the Micro Four Thirds system, I think it lets in enough light where I don't see going to like an EF mount with a speed booster just to get even more. I think this does fine. The next thing is zooming with my feet. So we already talked kind of about how, number one, your camera, your gear doesn't make you a better photographer, but it's really you. But learning how to get away from relying on zoom and moving closer to the subject, backing away from the subject within reason. And like I said, I did this out on the street and it actually worked really well. Because this camera is a lot larger than my old EOS M, and the lens is pretty gigantic too. Maybe I can turn this a little bit so nope, I guess you can't see it because, yeah, it's shooting straight. You can get a little bit off kilter there. Yeah, the lens is pretty massive. I'll put some pictures up. So yeah, if you're just trying to shoot and you don't want people looking right at your camera when you're out shooting street photography, it's not as easy, but once again, you could always work around that. All right. The magic of editing, that's number 8. So even though I've gone out and I've shot and there's been certain things, times I gotten back, I got the footage, reviewed it, and I'm like, man, I wish I had a step closer or, I did something different. I found that at least with stills, I can edit a lot of things to get it right where I need it to be. And I wasn't really doing that before with my still photography. I just wasn't. I mean, I shoot a lot of stills, but most of my editing and post was generally done with actually for video. And I still do a lot of editing with video. But yeah, I like the fact that I can use the magic of editing to work around maybe some of the shortcomings of just having one lens and one camera. Number 8 or number 9, sorry, would be BRoll. BRoll is a complete pain. When you have one camera and you're used to having 2 or 3, having to stop doing what you're doing to maybe capture some footage, just so you can incorporate that into the finished product when you go to render. Yeah, it is a little pain in the butt. However, my workaround for that is I've been doing a lot of my B-roll up front. So if I know that I'm going to shoot something, maybe it's a product or whatever, I'll do all my 4K cropping or whatever I plan on doing, panning, tilting, zooming, with my feet, of course, beforehand. And then I edit all that stuff in post. So it hasn't been as bad, but it would be nice to have a different perspective. Like for instance, when I'm filming this, maybe have a camera over here, a camera over here, something like that. So I can swap back and forth between different points of view. And then number 10, swapping between video and stills is a pain, especially when I have this set up. So like right now I have my cage. I could technically undo a couple of things here and slide the camera out, but it wouldn't be as easy because this is kind of heavy up here, tilts forward, but it's not like I can do one thing, take something out, and then put my battery grip on here and go shoot stills. It's not that easy. It's still not as bad, but even still, it would be nice if I could actually find a better setup. And I've been tinkering with actually building a custom cage for my grip. And that's my extended battery grip that I bought for the Panasonic. And it hasn't worked out yet. I keep running into clearance issues. So I don't know. Eventually I'll figure that out, hopefully. But that's really about it. Like I said, those 10 things are really the things that I've learned so far. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Once this is over with, 6 months from now, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Like I said, I really dig the camera. Who knows? Maybe I stick with the body, get the lens, or maybe Panasonic or Olympus may have released something else that's on the Micro Four Thirds, like maybe the GH6. Whenever that materializes, it'd be something to look into. I do know that if I were to get another camera, the cameras I would probably keep on the list. First off, they're going to be Micro Four Thirds, but would definitely be the G9 because the price of that thing is pretty ridiculous right now. The G95 is actually not on the list because the G9 is pretty ridiculous right now. Like I saw one this morning on Amazon warehouse for $8.99. Yes, it's used. However, me personally, I'll take the G9 over the G95. But then there's also the G85. And the G85 is a beast. And since I do a lot of video, and it also has the same sensors, the G9, with a lot less limitations for video, that might be one. Granted, it is a little more, but you can pick up one of those bodies from around 1100 to 1200 if you shop smartly. So I've been looking. Actually, I think I saw GH5 on Craigslist for like 900 bucks. So yeah, those cameras are out there. And who knows, if I do replace this, it will probably be with one of those. Or maybe there's an Ollie that comes out that I like, that granted it's micro four thirds. I'll probably take a look at. There's also your Blackmagic pocket cameras, pocket cinema camera. Great device. Granted, it has more of a video steal or video focus or bent. So if I were to pick up something like that, I would definitely have to keep this. But I can't really see picking up that camera over any of the Panasonics that I mentioned. But there's always a chance, because like I said, the price of that one brand new is 1,200 bucks, and then you get DaVinci Resolve with it, which is like I think $300 software. So you really can't beat that. And that camera is pretty incredible. But I think that the cameras are close enough, the GH5 and the Blackmagic. I would probably still get the GH5. So, but once again, I'm not planning on doing any of that right now. Pretty happy with this. Oh, the other one was the Osmo Pocket. So that would be another good one for B-roll as well. So yeah, I think that's about it. If you have any questions, like I said, leave them down below. Doesn't matter if it's about the G85, this little experiment thing that I'm doing, or any of the gear, the Andy Cine 4K screen at the top there, the Rode VideoMicris Wireless Go, small rig cage, a pen, you name it. All this stuff, feel free to ask. And I think that's about it. So Agent Fitz signing out.